Good people. Are you here for the Cooler Master preview? You know, they're definitely in my good books. The case of the year with the NR200. I'm using the MM720 as my main. And now we got some more. Let's go check it out. Well, good people, Cooler Master, my goodness, they're on such a good track to release some exciting peripherals for the gaming market in 2021, and I'm really excited to share everything we know so far about the new mouse, the Master Mouse MM731, and the new mechanical keyboard, the MK721, and I'm sure there's going to be a slight different variation model number for the 60% version and the 65%, which I have here, or I would call this maybe like a 66% version, just because we have this awesome volume wheel. It is fascinating to see Cooler Master evolve into this position where I would consider them to be like a worthy option for high performance gaming, both in terms of keyboards and mice. And this is exactly what we are talking about today. So let's review, or overview, preview right after this.
Don't have the time to wait for parts and build your own gaming PC? NZXT Build has your back. Navigate through their simple UI, choose the games you want to play, pick a budget that works, and the configurator will do its magic by offering some options built just for you. Or choose from one of their awesome pre-built setups. Want something more custom? Go crazy building your own dream PC from the ground up. All of these are backed with a 2-year all-in-one warranty on parts, labor, and RAM overclocking. Save your time and start gaming right away with NZXT Build. Check it out down below.
So the MM731, why is this mouse so special? Well, first of all, it encompasses everything I want to see in a professional high-performance mouse in 2021. So for example, it is wireless with a 2.4 GHz dongle. It is also Bluetooth compatible, which is incredible for that work and play scenario. And of course, you can plug it in for wired gaming. The Bluetooth support here is 5.2, which is awesome. Allows you to connect this mouse to multiple Bluetooth devices. It is USB-C, which is super appreciated. And the most impressive part about this mouse is the weight. So they've been able to cut down the weight. The final finished weight should be under 60 grams, so around 60 grams, where my sample without the USB receiver weighs in at just over 60 grams, which is still super impressive for this like pre-production model. Editor Dmitry here, but can we just take a moment and appreciate what Cooler Master has done here even with this prototype? I mean, it's lighter, going to be lighter than the Logitech G Superlight, which is around 63 grams. This is supposed to be under that. Right now it's like 62 grams, so technically still lighter. But I mean, this prototype, rough around the edges, so ignore all those imperfections. Obviously, wait out for my full review when this mouse finally launches. But my gosh, still super impressive. And also a word on the Bluetooth 5.2. It's great that it has multi-device compatibility, but that's not really new. It was available on the previous models. What is exciting is that Bluetooth 5.2 is supposed to give you lower latency. And for Bluetooth, that is exciting. All right, back to the video. And they achieved this with a solid shell, as you can see, without having the perforations that we normally see and associate with lightweight mice. This is awesome for two reasons. Structural rigidity is easier to achieve with a solid shell, and two, no gunk and dust and other particles accumulating inside the frame over time. They're following the footsteps of Razer and Logitech, so that's a big leagues competition right there, and having Cooler Master among the top 3 is going to be really exciting. I don't know about the price yet, but as soon as we have a hint of information on the expected release price, I'll leave it in the comments down below. As for the rest of the features, we have large PTFE feet at the bottom for smooth glide. You can see the pairing button alongside the multi-dial switch that lets you choose between the wireless 2.4 GHz, Bluetooth, or wired. And there's also a button to switch profiles, plus that little cavity for the USB receiver. The sensor here is optical up to 19,000 dpi, probably the same one as we saw with the MM720. Absolutely no complaints, performance is flawless. As for the switches, they are also optical, so instantaneous actuations and no debounce delay. We have a tasteful RGB element that is a thin outline of the Cooler Master logo, and it's invisible when offline, kind of like hiding behind the plastic. I love that. And finally, the shape. That's what's most important, and it's leaning towards the ergonomic side, only for right-hand use. Kind of similar to what we see with the glorious model D-. And it's a complete departure from the MM720, which I prefer. But in terms of like body shape, it's very comfortable for me. It's not too wide. Everything falls in the right places for my ring and pinky fingers. Although the flaring on that right trigger is a bit slightly too much. And also because this is a slightly pre-production model, the trigger is slightly higher than I prefer. And it kind of reminds me of the G900 from Logitech, where the front triggers were really high up and it didn't allow my fingers to kind of claw down. But with my hybrid grip, I would say I could game with this, but not my optimal ergonomic style, just because I prefer the front element of the mouse to be slightly more angled and not to be as high as it is on the MM731. But realistically, this is a really ambitious mouse from Cooler Master from specifications and feature points. And so the only thing they have to nail down is the price point to be slightly lower than Razer and to be slightly lower than Logitech so that this thing can shine. If this mouse is $99 and weighs under 60 grams while having Bluetooth support, I mean, that's a winner right there. All right, so let's move on to the keyboard, the MK721. I have here is the 65% version, but they'll also be launching a 60% model without the arrow keys and the page up and page down and without the handy volume wheel. I really like this retro style of the keyboard, that silver plate at the top. The arrow keys are slightly offset from the main body. The same thing with the delete, page up and page down keys. The font is super clean. All the secondary characters are nicely visible, although not as well illuminated as the top ones. And it's also multi-OS compatible, both for Windows and Mac OS. The bottom of the chassis is plastic, nothing here, but 2 angle feet adjustments. My goodness, I got so excited I forgot to talk about the basics. Here we have an aluminum top plate and a plastic body underneath. I don't know if that's gonna be it in the final production release, but it is what it is for now. So it kind of fits that work and play environment because just like the mouse, this thing is both 2.4 gigahertz with a dongle, Bluetooth compatible, which is of course Bluetooth 5.2 for multi-device support, and also it has a USB-C cable connection for wired mode. You can actually see the 3 Bluetooth devices on the keyboard, so you can switch between them seamlessly and quickly. And by the way, the included cable is coiled to go along with that retro theme. Aside from buying a custom coiled cable, I haven't seen any other brand, gaming or productivity, to include one, so this is really good on Cooler Master, pushing the industry forward. As for the rest of the body, on the right side we have a switch for connectivity, Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz or wired, while on the left side we have a pocket for your USB receiver. You will have an option for double shot PPT keycaps depending on the keyboard layout you choose. Because of the unconventional orientation of some of the keys for the 65% keyboards, like the slightly smaller keys to the right of the spacebar and the right shift, the slightly smaller right shift, keycap swapping might be a little bit more challenging for the 65%er, but the 60% keyboard will be a standard layout. The volume wheel is awesome because it's chunky, so it's easy to find and control. We have nice, precise scroll steps, and also it acts as a button for customization. Right now it's acting as mute, but through software you can customize what each direction does and what the click does too, which is awesome. This keyboard will come with a variety of MX Cherry switches, and the illumination, as you can see, is quite good in terms of color and shine through, but keep in mind that the secondary characters are not as well illuminated as the top. I won't comment on the stabilizers for this pre-production model, but I hope we see something of high quality and that is going to compete properly with the Ducky 65% offerings and the 60% keyboards as well, both from them and Razer. On that, one more thing, let's do a sound test for the keyboard. Just keep in mind this is a prototype only, okay? And so that is the MK721 in a nutshell. Really impressed by all the connectivity options, and I hope that battery life is going to be good, especially because they can fit a pretty chunky battery in here, given the slightly wider and thicker body. I love the retro design as well. I would rock this as my office productivity keyboard, and just really excited to see the final release product and see what's going to be refined and changed. Again, I will apologize for my hair, but let me know what you think of these peripherals, the MM731, the MK721 in the comments below. Would you pick any of these up based on this preview? I'm really excited to see the final mouse product, because I think this is going to be a game changer, especially when it comes to ergonomic, wireless, multi-function mice that are also lightweight and are not perforated. So, well done, Cooler Master. I'm Dmitry, thanks so much for watching. Check out this other relevant content. Subscribe for more. I'll talk to you in the next video.